All right, this is a 17.5-inch walleye that we've slit the throat on and bled it out. We're gonna slit its throat to prepare for the filleting process. And here we're gonna fillet it with an electric fillet knife. So I come up underneath the pectoral fin with a cut halfway down to the backbone. Make an incision up to the anal fin and then turn it 90 degrees and cut along the backbone, not through the backbone. All the way down to the tail. I leave that on, connected, because it's then easier to fillet the skin off. We're not traveling with this fish, so I don't need to keep a skin tab on. Now, if you're traveling with fish, don't cut the skin all the way off. Leave a little skin tab like this. That way you can identify the fish if you get stopped by the game warden, and it's just hanging on by a little bit. That way when you get home, that's just an easy slice off. And like that, you've got a restaurant quality fillet. There's one side. We'll flip this one over and do the same. Lay that fillet over. Just get that started. Downward pressure, but and like that you've got, and there's no meat left on this, aside from the walleye wings, which I don't typically do. But what's great about walleyes, don't forget the cheek meat. There's this really firm meat up here. We're gonna kind of fillet this out. Just downward pressure, and then once you get that started, you can just stick your finger in there and it mostly pops right out, peels away from the skin, and then you'll typically have to make one little more incision to relieve it from that ligament or whatever connective tissue that is. And so with that, you know, the larger the walleye, the nicer piece of that firm, it's almost like they call it a freshwater scallop. They have that scallop texture. Like that, right up to the eye. Stick your finger in there and just pops it loose. And then a little downward cut. Like that. Two little bite-sized scallops. And with that, and so now to get the rib meat out, I'm just going to make an angled cut to get started. We got to cut through the pin bones that connect to the rib cage. You don't want to cut all the way through, just at a kind of at a 45-degree angle, getting right through these pin bones. And once you get that started, what I like to do is flip the fillet over and then put downward pressure along the rib cage, using the flex of that fillet knife to then cut out that rib meat, or not rib meat, there's no meat there, that's all rib bone. And that goes in the gut bucket, and you're left here with a perfectly beautiful walleye fillet. Now, last thing that you'll want to do, you don't need to do this, but there's a line of pin bones that run right along the dorsal, or right along the lateral line here. And so I do this one of two ways. So you come down on either side of the lateral line, you cut all the way through. And this goes down to right about where the end of the rib cage went. And then on the other side of the lateral line, make another downward cut like this. And you're cutting this little strip of pin bone. And like that, you can get rid of that, and you're left with a good presentation, and that line of pin bones is gone, and no one's gonna get any bone in their fillet, and you'll be the star of the fish fry. Now, the other way, take the rib cage out like we did before. I'm going to show you how to zipper a fish. I don't know if this is... Take the rib cage out. Like that. You flip this guy over, and again, that downward pressure, I found you're able to fillet more of that rib cage off without losing that belly meat. That's up to you. This is a little bit more tedious. Like that. You get those rib bones out, and then again you're left with that, all of those. It's perfectly boneless, and then you've still got these pin bones. Now, to zipper a fish, you come down to the tail, and on the lateral line, you make, about an inch in. You make a cut on both sides of the line, and you got that little chunk there, and then you grab. Once you get it started, it's important to get it started properly. That flesh just pulls right away, and it actually almost kind of sounds like a zipper. And so there you've got the bottom half of the fillet, and you go back to the tail. And this whole lateral line of pin bones slow as you go, just pulls right off, and you're left with the lateral line is what tastes, oftentimes what tastes most fishy. And so this we throw in the gut bucket, no bones left. And as long as the presentation isn't like the main priority of your fillet, I mean, you're left with 2 boneless walleye fillets. And so if you cut those up and put them in a fryer, that's perfect. And if you're making fish tacos or something, I mean, that's a great application. And so there you go. You've got your walleye cheeks. You've got the zippered way, and then this is cutting out the pin bones, and like that. Pumping up 50-degree water from the earth and circulating in over the fillets, just washing them while we're cleaning them. And by the time you get done cleaning, they're perfectly washed and they stay cold, preserving the meat while you're cleaning. I definitely recommend this. I'll put a link in the description. This is probably a 6 or 7 year old version. I think they've come out with version 2.0 or maybe 3.0 at this point, but this, highly recommend Cowboys Wild Game Washer.